Welcome to this podcast. It starts with you. I'm Vic O'Farrell. I am the queen of behaviours, and everything I do starts by looking in the mirror at your own behavioural style. You see, we go along life, don't we, with people who are very much like ourselves. We tend to migrate to people similar styles to us without even realising it. From school age, we've made friends with people very similar. And then we come into this thing called work, and life and the world. And we realise that actually not everyone's like us. But do we realise that? We probably don't think of it any more than the fact that, well, they're just different. At school, we probably labelled people, didn't we? The boffins or the bullies or the clowns or the quiet ones, we put people in boxes and we label them. But what I do with the Queen of Behaviours and the Queen's Council is not about putting people in boxes or labelling people. It's about first looking in the mirror and understanding the impact that you have on others because of the way that you behave. Now, the core of that for me is about our personalities. And I've studied over the years, I've won an award in it as being a DISC profiler. There are many profiling tools out there, but I use the DISC system because for me, I fell in love with its simplicity and knew that if my style could remember it, then that would be great for all the styles. It was back in 1928, a gentleman called Dr. William Morton Marston. He published his studies of the emotions of normal people. And everyone back then thought a little bit, why would you study normal people? You can't sell them lotions, potions, or half an hour on a therapy bed. But he did, and he published his studies, and that is what the modern system of DISC is upon. Now, there are lots of other profiling tools, as I say, out there, and I've been through most of them, I would say, in my corporate life, and I enjoyed the days and I got really stuck in. But did any of them ever really resonate with me in terms of carrying on and using that to better myself and better my relationships with people? Because when I say to people, and in this podcast and these interviews, the question I do ask my guests, and I've had some fascinating conversations, is what impact has understanding your profile had on you, both professionally and personally? Because it's amazing how many people are in your life that are polar opposite to you in terms of your personality. And like I say, when you're with people who are similar to you, you don't need to make adjustments, you don't need to flex and adapt. But when you're with people who are polar opposite, you need to think about what impact you're having on them, because they will do, say, and react depending on how you do, say, and react and interact with them. And you're thinking, what does this all mean? Well, sometimes when you're asked to do something, or you ask other people to do something and the results are not what was expected, sometimes you need to look in the mirror first of all and think about, have I actually given those instructions in the way that that other person relates to and understands them better? Now, a prime example probably I would like to use is me and my late father. Now, he passed in May 2022. But he was the polar opposite to me. So in DISC terms, I'm seen as the very outgoing, peoply focused, which is an I style, which is yellow if you use a colouring profiling tool. And my father was the polar opposite. He was very reserved and task focused, which would be seen as the C style or a blue colour. And yet my mum always said to me from a very early age, you just got your father. You knew, you could read him from a very young age on when he wanted to be playful and dad and get down and just join in with us and all the games. But she said you also knew when he didn't want to be playful and when he wanted quiet and peace. Maybe he was working from home. And you respected that and gave him the space. And I think that's why me and my father had the most amazing relationship. And I remember closing his eulogy and I turned to the coffin and said, Dad, thanks for being the best dad for 51 years that this girl could have ever had. And I am blessed that I had an amazing relationship with him. And like I say, he taught me that actually living with somebody who is polar opposite to you in terms of personality is, you just got to understand and respect each other. That's not to say that in the workplace I understood that, because I've actually had conversations with quite a few of my ex-colleagues and asked them what it was like to work with me. And I think perhaps my high I probably could have stood for irritating, because I have been told I was a little irritating, exhausting, scary, All words that I would never have thought that I would have described myself. But I hadn't realised then that I was working with people who were polar opposite to my style, and perhaps I was just a little bit in your face, exhausting, intense. So I've learnt to adapt my style, and I've had conversations, like I say, over the course of the last 6 months with some amazing people with that question of what is it like and what impact has it had on your life by understanding and recognising your own style, both business and personal. So I hope you love listening to this podcast as I have loved putting it together. I've evoked some emotions. I've had some challenging conversations. Please do like and subscribe to the podcast on wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and find the videos on my YouTube channel, and like, subscribe and follow on the socials too, and share it. If you go through the show notes and you think, oh, I want to find someone who's a complete polar opposite to me, go and find it on the show notes and you'll find the conversations. I will do a podcast which is all about learning actually what those styles are, but I want this to be educational, but I want it to be fun. Yep, I don't want it to be a podcast talking about, so today we're going to be talking about the D style, and that's not what it's about. Even my workshops, my masterclasses, the keynotes that I deliver, I think you'll find that anybody would probably not use the word dull when it comes to the Queen of Behaviours and me, Vico Farrell. So like I say, I hope you enjoy listening. Please do leave me a review, share it, and get in contact. I look forward to seeing you. Seeing you? You don't see me, do you? Because you're listening to this as a podcast. I look forward to hearing you, listening to you, and interacting with you on socials. Take care. Bye for now.